In a tale that seems ripped straight from a suspense novel, a crafty con artist used the heartbreaking loss of her own daughter as a twisted story to scam unsuspected victims out of more than £400,000. Susan Goose, a 63-year-old from Norwich, those manipulation tactics knew no bounds. She roped Jennifer Esler into a web of deceit, spinning lies about a bogus legal battle for an inheritance supposedly owed from a man she claimed had harmed her late daughter Chloe, who tragically passed away in 2006. Esler, now 71 and a grandmother of 6, fell victim to Goose's schemes for a staggering 8 years. In that time, she not only lost her life savings, but also her home, a flourishing clothing business, and even her marriage. Goose's actions didn't stop there. She didn't just scam one person, but managed to swindle 7 individuals out of their hard-earned cash, effectively destroying families and leaving a trail of financial ruin in her wake. But how did Goose manage to pull off such an elaborate scheme? Well, it turns out she had quite the playbook. She approached her targets in pubs across Norwich, telling them lies about needing funds for legal fees in a civil case over her supposed inheritance. To bolster her credibility, she fabricated all kinds of legal documents, from emails to claim forms, even showing items from her alleged solicitor, the bank and the High Court supposedly handling the legal case. It was all smokes and mirrors, designed to deceive and manipulate those who crossed her path. And deceive she did, until one of her victims found themselves drowning in debt, their life savings sucked dry, and their home, businesses and assets lost because of Goose's actions. But her scamming antics would finally be stopped due to efforts from Action Fraud and Broadland CID within Norfolk Police. Their investigation uncovered the extent of Goose's deceit, revealing a staggering 2,600 payments to online gambling websites totaling over £130,000, proving that she also had a double life and was spending this on all sorts of online gambling, and it's just crazy. Goose's scamming life was flipped upside down on January the 5th, 2024, when she was arrested on suspicion of fraud. Additional victims then emerged, further cementing her guilt, and she was ultimately charged with 5 counts of fraud by false representation. April the 26th, 2024, Susan Goose faced the consequences of her actions, but even in the face of justice, she showed no remorse. Detective Constable David Block, the lead investigator on the case, summed it up. Goose's offending was a gross abuse of trust and an example of exploitation at its worst. As we bring this crazy story of a ruthless con lady to a close, let's not overlook the role of Detective Constable Dave Block and the diligent investigators of Broadland CID. Their tireless efforts unearthed the truth buried beneath layers of deceit, shining a light on Goose's evil deeds. It's a testament to the dedication of law enforcement professionals who work tirelessly to ensure that justice prevails even in the face of daunting challenges. As, let's be honest, no matter what you think of the police, no one would like their elderly relatives to fall victim to people like Goose and lose everything. But what of Susan Goose herself? As she sits behind bars, serving out a 6-year sentence, one can't help but wonder what goes on in the mind of such a master manipulator. Does she harbour any remorse for the life she's destroyed? Or is she merely biding her time, plotting her next move? Only time will tell. But for now, let us take comfort in the knowledge that justice has been served. The victims of Susan Goose's elaborate scheme can finally begin to pick up the pieces and rebuild their lives. And though the scars left behind may never fully heal, they serve as a stark reminder that you can never be sure what a con artist actually looks like. So as we wrap this up, let us remain cautious against those who would seek to exploit our trust for their own gain. Always be careful who you trust in the world around you. Anyways, I'm going to wrap this up. Like, comment, share, subscribe in a bit, people.